Hi again. A.T. Robertson, The Divinity of Christ in the Gospel of John. We're on page 162 of the last chapter, entitled The Vindication. This is discussing the second Sunday night. We've already covered in the previous video the prior Sunday night, the Lord's Day, when the Lord appeared to apparently all of the 11 remaining of the 12. And in that one, we made the point that Thomas was absent, and Thomas doesn't seem to want to accept the testimony of his fellow disciples, just as the disciples themselves had rejected the testimony of the women, including Mary Magdalene. They had to see it for themselves. Thomas insists that has to be the case for him to believe what he's being told. The meeting the second Sunday night. This is covering John 20, verses 26 to 29. Things could never again be as they had been. Jesus had appeared to various individuals and once to the group on that first Sunday night. The clouds were forever lifted from their hearts. Some still doubted, like Thomas, and others later, when they first saw Jesus as was natural. That's recorded for us, Matthew 28, verse 17. But this little band of men and women were knit together in a hallowed experience that changed the horizon of the world for them. Jesus is alive. The kingdom is not over. All is not lost. All is true that they had hoped and more, though new and strange. They are not yet ready to go forward, for he himself has an appointed meeting with them on the mountain in Galilee. So they wait with fluttering hearts. On this second night they gather as a matter of course, and they persuade Thomas to come this time. They had no assurance that Jesus was to appear to them on this night, but it will do them good to meet together and talk over the tremendous import of the new turn in their life as followers of Jesus. They are still afraid of the Jews, and the doors are shut as before. Jesus suddenly stepped into the midst and gave the greeting of peace, shalom. But the presence of Thomas leads Jesus to accept his challenge. Thomas was an honest man, if cautious, and a noble one. His confession reaches the highest plane of the Gospels. He said simply, "My Lord and my God." With these words vanished all doubt and came full surrender and faith. Jesus accepted his homage, but took pains to point out that he had missed the opportunity for the highest faith in not believing without sight. These words lingered in the memory of Peter also, according to 1 Peter 1:8. And this highest type of faith is open to us all today. Then at the end of the chapter, 20 verses 30-31, we have what Robertson calls the author's ideal. The book seems finished, for it is hardly possible to rise above the confession of Thomas. I am inclined to think that John did stop at this point, and that at a later time added chapter 21 as an epilogue. He looks back upon his task with an author's feeling of incompleteness, almost of dissatisfaction. He has produced the noblest book ever written by man, but does not seem to know it. He is conscious of the many other signs that Jesus did, which he knows and cannot record for lack of space. He has not tried to tell all that he knows. He has frankly written with purpose and has made a selection out of the vast material at his disposal. His purpose is the noblest that is possible for any author. He wants his readers to believe that Jesus is in reality the Christ, the Son of God, not as a mere theological dictum or shibboleth of orthodoxy, but that they, by believing, they may have life. This can only come to them in the name and power of this same Son of God, whose coming to earth he has proven in this book. The wish is a prayer and a hope. Would we say, "My Lord and my God," to Jesus? And of course, those of us coming from a witness background know that we're practically forbidden from doing that by the dogmas of the Watchtower Society itself, by this zeal they have for preserving the uniqueness of Jehovah, who they equate with God the Father, of course, with only God the Father, not with the Son of God or the Holy Spirit. So would we say, "My Lord and my God," to Jesus? I'll put in a link to Christ's deity in the early church. 3 videos that are linked together here. I'll put the first on your screen. See you soon.